Hey everyone, welcome back to my astrology channel. Today we're going to talk about Saturn, Lord Saturn. Saturn is referred to as Shani Dev in the Vedic astrology. So definitely check out all my videos on Vedic astrology, what the houses are like, what each house tells you, who's the ruler of each house, etc. So we're going to talk today about Saturn. Saturn rules originally 10th and 11th house in the Vedic astrology. So he's the actual owner of the Kalpurush Kundali for 10th and 11th house. What are 10th and 11th house? 10th house is the house of work, right? It's where you do work. It's hard work. And it could be the status that you get from that hard work. But otherwise, Saturn is a renunciator. It doesn't care about the results of the actions. It just wants you to do the hard work. Let's talk about some of the other qualities of Saturn. Saturn is a planet that's connected to delay. So wherever you've got Saturn sitting in your chart, you're going to have delay there, okay? If it's sitting in your 7th house, house of marriage, you may see a delay in your marriage. And if it's not delayed and you end up marrying early on, you may see problems with the marriage. Pretty much 100%, Unless you have Jupiter's 5th aspect on it, then that could be avoided a little bit. But most likely, if you have Saturn sitting in your 7th house, your marriage is going to be delayed. And if it's not delayed, you're going to have more than likely some back and forth issues with it. So that's a delay explanation. Saturn is discipline. Okay, Saturn makes you a very disciplined person. Wake up at a certain time, going to bed at a certain time, doing things a certain way. Very disciplined in your work. It also makes you work hard. Saturn is a hard worker. Saturn is a servant when it comes to the hierarchy of the planets. It's considered more on the slave side, where your king is your sun. Saturn is actually the sun's son, okay? But they have a lot of, their relationship is not good due to the way Saturn was born. So Saturn is your servant kind of an attitude. So servient attitude at work. So Saturn wants you to have no ego in anything that you do, anything. So whatever house it's sitting in, Saturn's gonna make sure that you remove that ego from that house. And it's gonna do things in your life where that's gonna happen. So if Saturn's sitting in your 1st house, it's gonna eventually make it that you will not have an ego. You may have ego, but the tests that Saturn's gonna put you through, the trials, the tribulations in your life that Saturn's gonna put you through, you will come out with no ego. That's what Saturn will do. Because it wants you to have a servient attitude. Saturn is the Lord of karma. So Saturn will reward you as per your karma. Whatever you give is what you're going to get. Whatever you do for others is what you're going to get. Okay? Saturn is the Lord of obstructions. It will create obstructions because it's delay, right? So how do delays happen? By obstructions. So it's going to be obstructions. Saturn is also a fair judge. So let's go back to the 1st house since it's a reference point. But if you'd like to know more about Saturn in all houses, do check out my video. I will try to see if I can put a link to all the videos of Saturn in all houses in this one. But Saturn, if sitting in your 1st house, is going to make you a very fair person, okay? If it's afflicted, you may be unfair to people, but you are going to learn your lessons on becoming fair. You will become fair at the end of the day. But again, those tests, trials that Saturn's going to put you through, when you're being unfair to people, Saturn's going to push you back to being fair, but you're going to have to suffer to learn that lesson. If Saturn is not benefic for your chart, Saturn is a natural malefic. Is always remember that. When you have a natural malefic, it is going to show some of its maleficness because that's just the nature of it. But if it's benefic to your chart, it may not do it as bad, but you will still see it. So, so Saturn is a fair judge. If you have a good Saturn in your chart, you could be a judge. Absolutely. If you have Saturn sitting in the 10th house, you will have judge-like qualities when you're working. You may even see some Saturns in judges' horoscopes, fair judges' horoscopes. Now, if there are afflictions in there, that could be a problem. Saturn is an elderly planet. So if you have Saturn sitting in your first house, you may look elderly. You may walk with a little bit of a, because Saturn has a problem with the ankle. You may have ankle issues. You may walk fine, but you may have pain in your ankle. Or your lower part of your leg below the knees. Even knees as well, because Saturn also rules the 10th and 11th house. 10 is knees, 11 is below the knees to ankle. You may end up with a knee surgery. You may end up, again, we have to look at the conjunctions and the afflictions also, and the aspects that are coming to it. You can't just say if you have Saturn in your first house, but chances are high you could. If you have Saturn in your fourth house, that's on your mother's house, and they could have some issues with their knees and ankles. Saturn is a patience, house of patience. It's a patient planet because it causes delays. So it's going to teach you the lesson of patience. It's going to do things so slow that you're going to learn to have patience. So when Saturn gives you, if it's benefic for you, if it's Mahadasha comes and it gives you, it's going to give you so much. And you may have heard of Sade Sati. Definitely watch my video on Sade Sati. You're going to learn a lot about what you go through during Saturn's Sade Sati. But that's a 7.5 year period that Saturn gives you. It comes during your moon sign, when your moon is in Saturn's sign. Well, let's go back to Saturn. It won't allow you to take any shortcuts. It won't allow you to deceive anyone. So if you have an afflicted Saturn with bad aspected Saturn also, you may get involved in deceits and you may take shortcuts in your life, but Saturn's going to teach you. Saturn's going to teach you a lesson. It's going to be a fair judge of that. So if you ever have Saturn in your first house, try to keep ego away. Try to keep working hard. Things are maybe going to be delayed for you in your life. You're going to be fair. If you ever see yourself being unfair to someone, or if someone ever tries to tell you that you're being unfair to them, go within yourself and see, am I really being unfair? But then again, you would have to know if you have Saturn in your first house. Saturn will punish. Saturn, because I said it's a fair judge, who gives punishments? Saturn. Saturn will punish you. Okay, that's Saturn's job. So watch my videos, like I said, on Saturn on all houses. You're going to absolutely love them. I'm going to talk about the 3 aspects of Saturn now. Saturn has 3 aspects. First is on house 3, house 3rd from where it's sitting. Second is on 7th house, which everybody has. And the last one is on 10th house. Because in the Kalpurish Kundali, Saturn is the lord of the 10th house. He owns the 10th house. So it always wants you to, let's just start with 10th house. Well, let's start with the 3rd house. 3rd aspect. So wherever Saturn is sitting, 3rd house is the house of courage. Okay, it's hard work, courage. It is the house of your younger siblings, house of travel, etc. So Saturn's 3rd aspect is going to do 2 things. One, it's going to want you to work hard in that house. So say Saturn's sitting in your 4th house. It's aspecting the 6th house as its 3rd aspect. 6th house is like pain, debt, disease, litigations, daily job, service job, your pets. It's going to make you work hard. It's going to, first of all, help you because Saturn's a malefic, so it's going to kill off a lot of that pain, debt, and disease, but it's going to have you work hard to kill that off too. It's going to have you work hard to make that daily job get up from the ground too. So Saturn is sitting in your third house. It's aspecting your fifth house. Okay. Now it's going to make you show some courage in that house because its third aspect is courage also. So it's going to want to have you say, yeah, it's okay. My third house is great. It really is great. You're going to have to work hard at your fifth house of children, self-expression, romance, past good deeds, sports, your status, all of that stuff, your knowledge. You're going to have to work hard at it. Because it's the work hard, Saturn is a hard work planet, you will do well. Once you learn that you have to work hard at that, you have to show courage in that house, Saturn will help you. With a delay, but it will help you. The next aspect is on the seventh house, which is a give and take aspect, as I've already told you. Like with Mars also, you know, whatever you give is what you're going to get back. So when Saturn is aspecting that seventh house from you, it demands you to put a lot of hard work in that house, and it's going to give that back to you. Okay. So if you've got Saturn sitting in your third house, it's going to be aspecting ninth house, right? Now, ninth house is your house of father, spirituality, gurus, teachers. It wants you to give the respect, give the hard work. So if give the respect to your father, you're going to get that back. Give respect to your teachers, you're going to get that back. Do the hard work that is required in that house by your teachers. Show the courage that that house is great. Your house is good. You got to show that it's a good house. That's like your seventh house. So it's just a direct aspect. What you give, what you're going to get. The next aspect is one of the biggest ones. It's on your 10th house from where it's sitting. So if Saturn is sitting in the fourth house, for instance, it's going to aspect your first house as the 10th aspect. You're going to have a delay there. You're going to have to work hard on yourself on that house. Because of the delay, because the hard work you have to do, because the discipline you have to put into you. You're going to have obstructions in having you be how you want to be. But eventually Saturn's going to bless you so much in that house. The 10th aspect is where you put in the most work. Because original house of Saturn is house 10. That's why it got that aspect. It's a hard work. It's work, basically, right? You're gonna have to put in a lot of work in that house. So Saturn's gonna create those conditions where you're gonna put a lot of effort into that house, and that house is gonna shine because it is the house that is a house of hard work, and you get a status, you get a fame from that hard work. So when you put in that effort in that house, you're gonna get really good way to shine. Original example of house 4, aspect on the first house. Saturn's going to want to make you keep working on yourself. So there are going to be conditions in your life where you're going to be pulled down. Your self-esteem is going to get tugged. Self-confidence is going to be rooting away. But Saturn's going to want you to keep working at it, bit by bit, step by step. Yes, you will have obstructions. You will have pain. You will have mental torture. But you will get through it and you will shine. You will shine in that. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like, subscribe, and we do offer personal consultations. If you're going through any struggle in your life, reach out to us. We'll love to look at your chart and see how we can guide you. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you can get updates on the videos, new videos that we post. Thanks. Bye-bye.